Why is it we always think we're going to reuse things when really they just should be recycled? Now, the only thing about the black pots is they don't recycle only because the recycling mechanisms that are out there, they do it by light, they separate. And the black will not reflect light. But the proven winners that are white or the ones that are green, those all will recycle. And see, this says 100% recyclable number 2. So this one will recycle. So to the recycle bin it goes, and sadly to the dump this one goes. Trying to lean you down in here. You see how this, I have a plant sitting over here because this gets a lot of sun right here. But I'll move it so that you can see past it. I'll have to move over here because I have no space at the moment. And you can see how stuff has just gotten stacked here. This is a sign my mom had made for the hen house. I was thinking of putting it up inside of my hen house. And my cleaning stuff, seeds, tools. I need to put up hooks for my tools. So, yeah. Lupin, you know, these I should go and I should spread them right now out in my garden. Because that's how, these are dwarfed. Perfect. I know exactly where I want to put these. I've just put out a bunch of roses into the garden. They were in barrels. Hyde Hall, I have 3 of them. I planted them to make a hedge in the rose cottage garden. So yeah, this would be perfect in there. I need to go through my seeds and then go spread them. So what comes up, comes up. What doesn't, doesn't. I mean, this was a $1 packet of seed, if that. So no great loss if they don't germinate. But if they do, a huge win. So let me see how tall these ones get. Seed depth, seed space, sprouts, then height 24 inches. So perfect, perfect, perfect. So I know exactly where I want to put those. Okay. So again, you see how my flat surface collects things. And I want to have a more organized space. Even though I promised myself, I absolutely promised myself, oh, I'm not going to stack it up. In the summer, I get going and doing, and this just collects stuff. I sit down and I think, oh, set it down. I'll take care of it later. And then it just accumulates. It's a bad habit. It's one I've been trying to break. And so far I have not been successful, but I am going to work towards that goal. So yeah, there's a dahlia that I pulled up and rinsed off. And see the tubers? I'm going to cut this off. I was checking it for gall because I've had some in the past have gall. This one does not show any evidence of it. What I will do is I will cut it off, all these stems. I'll put this in a pot big enough to hold all of these tubers. And then come next spring, I'll put it on my bottom shelf in here. That I have another one over there. And then I will just keep it in winter in here. And then I will plant the pot and all out in the garden next spring towards summer because it needs to be a little bit warmer. And then they will bloom again. These were the most beautiful orange. Is this the orange? Oh, this might have been, this is one of the ones I pulled out from up front. This one is Thomas Edison, a beautiful burgundy. But yeah, so got a little seedling of something coming up there. Look like a daisy. Anyway, so that's how I keep my dahlias safe from the gophers as I plant them in pots in the ground. And then they're super easy to pull up. And then I just examine them in the fall when I pull them up to see if they have any evidence of dahlia gall. So far, these ones have, this is going to be like the 4th year I've had these. And I have a whole nother video and blog post on another way I used to overwinter them, the tubers in my basement. But I have found that because I'm 8B zone, that I can overwinter them here in a pot in the greenhouse, and they will do even better than when I overwinter them in the basement. So I'm going to go spread those seeds. All right, so let me get over there. Over here is where I planted some of the roses. These are Bosco Bell, but I think this would be a great place for the lupins. I do have a lupin right over there, but it's a tall, tall one. I'm going to plant some right here, and then I'm going to move down the row and plant more. It looks like something. You know, while I was transplanting these roses, I lost one of the roses that I started from a cutting, and I don't know what in the world I did with it. So there, I'm just pressing them into the soil. I'm not going to bother with covering them. Now I know I'm going out of the camera. I need to get a camera that follows me. I've seen some, but I need to raise money for those. Anyways, I'm putting more down here by these others and see how they come. Now I have some Canterbury bells I want to put out too. They aren't shorter, but I want to put them over here by this pergola here. And I'm sowing heavily, that way I know I'll get some. While I'm looking, I'm kind of looking for that rose. I know I set it down, and then I buried these roses, and then the camera shut off, and I don't have where I put that other rose. That just slays me that I've been doing these silly things lately. Okay, so there's my seeds tossed out there in the soil. Alrighty then. When it gets so overwhelming, it's kind of hard to know where to start, where to stop. That's the garbage can. It's supposed to be tucked in that corner over there. And here's some irrigation stuff. I need to find a box to put it in and put it in the basement until next year. So, yeah, why all this stuff is everywhere. Now this is a box full of it, so I can just put it in there with this. Nope, that's not going to work. I need a much larger box. I think we recycled all of our boxes. I do have a big plastic bin, those Sterlite or Rubbermaid bins in the basement. I should designate one of them to be for irrigation stuff. And put like my hose link, I have the end that I take off so it doesn't bust in the winter, and all of that stuff can go into that bin. I have things like this, which I put potted plants in the winter that are just in the black ugly pots, and this helps to be a bottom to catch drainage and other stuff. Now this goes in the house, does the same thing in there for smaller plants that are in just the black plastic pots. So figure out what I want where. At least getting all the clutter out of here will help me to get organized. This is my canna. In fact, that reminds me, I should go bring that canna in here or put it in my bespoke greenhouse. It won't overwinter in the pot outside, but it would here inside one of these two greenhouses. So there's that. And I started by sweeping all of the cobwebs down, the worst of them. Then I sprayed with my rosemary spray. Now this is the spray. It's called Systemica Insect Killer, and it's made with rosemary and clove oil, I do believe. Rosemary and clove, yes. So, and it helps to deter the spiders from coming back. At least it seems to be doing the job. I'm looking really close to see if any are returning. And if I do see like small webs or whatever, I'll go ahead. I have some mixed up in a spray bottle right here. And then I spray that area because, once it dissipates, I don't know how long it sticks around, but they will come back. So this is something that I keep in here, or I could keep in my basement on a shelf in there and go get it as needed. But sometimes when I'm in here, I just want to work. Okay. So, yes. So I need to get figured out. Now I have these, which I was going to hang up for small tools and what have you. Oop, I see evidence of mice. So I need to put up some mice deterrent or traps. But I was going to hang these on the wall, and I didn't know if it would just be more clutter in here or it really would be beneficial. You know what? I could put one right there. So I just some screws in the wall to do that. Yep. Checking my propagation tank. I don't know. I need to look up. I probably need to take that in the house so that it could be in the warmth, unless I put a heat mat out here. But I think taking that and putting it on my light rack in my office would be best. Okay, so I need to figure out, let me check my timer. I have bread that is rising. Oh, I got 1 minute. So I need to, I'll go ahead and cut the stems off this dahlia and throw this into the chicken pen. They are my composters. They do it really quickly. Find a pot to put this in, get that done, and I can put it away and start clearing off the top of this. I think that's a plan. I need to focus on one section. So first, I've got to go knead my bread, then I'll be back. Bump it into things because everything's a mess. Anyways, I found a box while I went in to knead my bread, take care of my bread. One thing about my life, and I'm going to say this right here for you guys, I'm going 3 million different directions at once. And so I'm fitting making this video in with making my bread. And so I hope not to be too disjointed, but that's the reality of my life. And I want to continue doing videos. I love doing the videos. It makes me feel very creative. And if you watched my one where anyways, it was like the ASMR type and being very relaxing and the nature sounds, etc. Yeah, so I'm just testing out things. But I wanted to say also, now, a couple weeks back, I did a video on how Google has decimated my income to my blog. And a fellow blogger, garden blogger, her name of her blog is Shifting Roots. And she's up in Canada, zone 3, and she shares all about growing in her zone, which to me would be very challenging. She has a lot of followers, etc., but Google also decimated her site. And she pointed out to her followers who was afraid that she was going to close her blog down because, it was becoming more work than it was paying for, and she's supporting her family, that she said, well, if you want to find something out that I have written about and you want to Google it, Google, how to grow daisies, shifting roots. And so you could do the same for me. If you want to go to my website, or if you want to find something, how to grow clematis, then type in Flower Patch Farmhouse. And then Google will bring up my article on that. So if you want to do that, when you do a search on Google, put my name in or the name of my blog, Flower Patch Farmhouse, and you'll get the information I have put out there for it. Now, I'm zone 8B, so all my experience is in that zone. It used to be 8, and before that, it was 7, and I have also gardened in zone 9. So I have a little more variance as far as zones. I also very briefly gardened in a zone 5, but it was so short that it's not really worth saying I have experience at it, really. Okay, so this box I'm going to use to put my irrigation stuff in and clean this up. Now see this little pot? This is where I'm going to, I have the miniature African violets. What I love about them is they stay small, so they can fit on like my kitchen windowsill, and I love it. Now this is to start some leaves from a couple that I have, or at least one of them. I need to get another little one. These are little 2-inch pots that for a friend who loves the miniatures as well. So anyways, let's see how much time I got, because I know I only had 15 minutes. I have 4 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to dump these in there. Not only do I have my irrigation stuff, but I also have anything related to it, like my sprinklers. So I'm going to put that in there. This is the handle to my hose link. Now, I have both the hose link and the Vigo Garden retractable hoses. Now, as far as spray strength, like if you really want something that has a lot of power, my hose link does better. The Vigo Garden retractable hoses, they have a longer reach, but the hose size around diameter is smaller, and that's why they don't have quite the power. But all in all, they work similarly, and I found them both to be beneficial. But to be honest, if I was going to spend the money rather than having someone send me, well, the hose link I did buy. I would go with the hose link. So I just wanted my followers to know that between testing both of them for over 6 months, or about 6 months, yeah, I would put my money on the hose link. But if you need longer, the Vigo Garden ones are longer and will do the job. So As far as like their spray setting and all of that, it is comparable. It was the power of the jet setting that was better with the hose link. And I think that's because the diameter of the hose was bigger, is bigger. Okay, so this box I'm going to set aside in case I need to use it for something. Now here's some, these are irrigation components too. They're in this pot that is just like a pot you would set another pot into, and I kind of want it. So that's going to go in there. Oh, a bunch of screws are in there. I don't know why. Well, you know what? I'm on cleanup duty. That can wait till next year if it has to. Okay, I'm going through this. All these little pots, are you like me where you just can't stand to throw them away? These will recycle because they're pink. I have a bazillion pots like this. I don't need these. I need to recycle them. Where's my bin? Okay. Down there it goes. I just got to get tough. I'm just terrible about hoarding lately. It's like, oh, these, I can use these. Now, it's probably 10 years ago now, I bought these self-watering pots at Walmart. They're really cheap and I love them. They're great for African violets because it has a little self-watering thing here. And when I water it, I don't always water from the bottom. I have a blog post on growing African violets, and most people will say bottom water, don't bother. It's not a big deal if you do it right to water from the top. But this catches any excess water, and after half an hour, if there's any in there, I just pour it off. It's very easy to do because you don't want it to sit in water. But these were wonderful. I don't even know if you can get them anymore. I have a ton of these, and I've been starting to start plants like the African violets and give them as gifts. And it's wonderful. I don't need this many for personal use, so gift giving, these work perfectly for people. I need to set this over here. That little shelf thing I saw that showed you that I was going to hang up, I have one right here. I will show you in a minute. In fact, I'll do it right now. And I have little pots stacked in it. And it's great to be able to grab these when I need them. They're up out of the way. So yeah, just wonderful. I brought in my bougainvillea, if you can see that there, to winter in here. I hope it'll overwinter in here. I think it will. All right. So this is a rose. I put it in here. I was going to mark it, and I forgot. I think it's one of my Grandpa Newt roses. I hate that when I do that. I get going, and I forget to. I was going to make a little tag. Something happened. I got called away, and boom. Now, I can overwinter my starts outside if I want to. Also, I've had them in the little bespoke greenhouse. This greenhouse tends to get the snow mold or the greenhouse mold in the winter. And the other one does not because it gets more sun. Now, sorry, my timer. Anyways, yeah, so I probably will try to put up a shelf in the bespoke greenhouse for my starts or just leave them out in the garden. Being zone 8B, they will be fine out in the garden. So I don't have to really keep them in here. They probably would have less chance of living in here than they do out in the garden. So yeah, and you know what? If I lose them, I can always start more. There's no cuttings that I couldn't get more of if I needed to. All right, I got to go knead my bread. All right, as I was coming back, I noticed this little geranium. This was a little piece of a cutting that I stuck in some soil, and it grew, and then it started blooming. And it's such a pretty one. I couldn't let it just croak out there. So I'm going to go ahead and pot it up in here. I'll cut off the bloom so we can focus on establishing more roots. This one got frostbite for sure. And yeah, I need one of the small little pots I have. Okay, this one will work. No, maybe I want something a little bigger. All right, I know I have the little 3-inch pots. You know what? I'm going to put it in a nice little. This one of my kids painted for me. Isn't that cute? Anyways, just something simple. Get it in here. See if I can salvage it for over the winter. Not let it get too cold. It deserves to live. I know you're saying, why don't you just focus on getting your greenhouse cleaned up? Huh, this is the way I work. I'm ADHD. No, literally. So, yeah, if I see something that needs doing, I got to do it because I'll forget, and then it's going to be toast, and then it wouldn't live. So that was important to save. Plus, this will get done in due time. Alrighty, let me see. I'll just set that over here where it can be with the other geraniums on this shelf. Yeah, underneath here. Okay. Also, see, I have these I've been saving for years, and people give them to me. They need to be recycled. And there they go. Some more of these. I'm going to put them in the same spot over there where I put the other one. Thankfully, they do stack on top of each other nicely. And let's see. That's about empty. I should put it with the other one. Bunch of ceiling hooks. I could put these in these runners in here or in the bespoke greenhouse, and then I can hang pots from them. That works well. So I have a container for little things over there. S hooks that I use for chains on my little light rack for the lights, the grow lights. Now I can put grow lights in here, and maybe that would help with the snow fungus. I don't know if it's a lack of light, if it's just the humidity level, the lack of airflow. I'm not sure. I am assuming it's light because that one doesn't get it. But who knows? I could try putting some lights in here, but I have to get my cover put on because this leaks when it rains right now because of it not being level. Now, it used to be level when we put it in. We were very careful to level it. But the gophers that we've had to struggle with, they undermined it by tunneling under it, and then portions sank. Yes, it's a tremendous gopher problem. And yeah, I have seen sites, many of them, even extension sites, that say that gophers won't eat garlic and onions, etc. And that's not accurate. If you look at, like, Gilroy here in California is the garlic capital of the world. They will admit to having a huge gopher problem and them eating the bulbs. So that's not accurate. Now, maybe some people got that because of the scent, but society garlic, which is not even in the same family, they won't eat. So maybe they thought they wouldn't eat regular garlic if they wouldn't eat the society garlic. And onions too, they will eat them. My friend was growing a big batch of onions in a raised bed that she had protected. And then her husband took the protection out saying, oh, they won't eat onions. They decimated her onion patch, and come to find out it was gophers because they trapped it. So they were able to identify what the problem was. So I just wanted to tell you that because there's a lot of misinformation out there about what gophers won't eat. They also say won't eat irises. And let me tell you, I have a video of them eating one of my irises in my garden. So my iris reticulata, also my Siberian iris, and my Dutch irises, they ate those too. So don't believe anybody that says they will not eat those, because they will. Now, they won't eat daffodils. They're poisonous to them. Now, this is some coils, heat coils that I could put up in here for heating my bench. So that is something I probably will keep in here, put up there for now. Oh, here's my glasses. I don't put these ones on my head because they get caught in my hair really easy. All right, here's a couple of containers on this shelf here that can go. Here is a broken pot that I saved. Now, I wanted to show you something. How very interesting. Yeah, see, this one has I don't know if it's cement in it or what, but the rest of it seems to be totally terracotta. I was trying to do something with these. Where I was starting roses in a terracotta pot within a terracotta pot, and like sandy, well-draining, gritty soil. And then you stick the little cuttings in that soil, and you fill the center terracotta pot with water, and then it releases moisture slowly. That was a pumpkin. That's gross. Anyways, that keeps it watered without being too much water, and that's how I rooted a whole bunch of cuttings last February, March. I went to a local rose society, and they were selling cuttings to raise money, and it was like $1 each. So I bought a bunch of roses, vintage roses that I didn't have, and the cuttings anyways, and I did them that way, and they did. There was only one that I lost, and it was after I had potted it up that it died. So the method works, and well, this is a really pretty terracotta pot. I'm going to dump out this soil. I have a metal bucket here that I put cuttings and stuff in, and then I dump it out in my compost bin. But yeah, let me get that out. And I'll wipe this pot down. I could use this. Now, what I, in the past, have used these for is succulents. I have tons and tons of sempervivums. Now, echeverias I don't buy, or echeverias, however you pronounce it, because they won't overwinter for me here, even in this greenhouse. So, but the sempervivums will. In fact, they're alpine plants. And when I took a hike last summer up on the mountain, and we went up at the high elevation, I couldn't believe the native sempervivums, or hens and chicks, around in the succulents. They were just gorgeous. Now, this plastic one, I do the same thing, except I give them as gifts. I usually keep the ones in the terracotta because I love terracotta. I know some people don't like it and they want to age it and whatever. Let me tell you, here it ages and gets that white stuff on it and just looks beautiful. But yes, I have a shelf down here full of terracotta pots, and I will put it there. And then I will go around, and I have tons of named ones. Chicks and Charms is a company that has a bunch of them that are different and beautiful, and I've got a bunch of them, and they send up babies, and then I pot up the babies and stuff like this. Now this one is stuff like this that I know I'll use, that I have a hard time figuring out where I'm going to store it. And usually I end up just shifting things around, and I don't want to do that. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I guess I could put it with the terracotta, go ahead and fill it up, really not quickly, but more soon. And then I can give it away to somebody. And these will also overwinter outside for me. So I could pot them up, a bunch of them in here, set them outside, and the next spring when they start filling in, I could give it away. That's a thought too. Okay, I could put it on my list of things to do, because I got a bunch that are crowded. So that would be a great project to do. So in the meantime, I guess I could put it down here with the terracotta one, and then it'll be right there, easy to grab when I need it. Okay. Or the self-watering. Here's another type of self-watering, but I don't like it because I can't, not as well. I can't, there's no where I can look in and see, like these have this little thing here where I can see where the water is. But these do work. And I think timer. I will be right back. They do work fine, and I have them out to clean them up so that I can fill them with plants to give away. I have tons of extra plants, and I can't stand to kill them. I don't know if you're like me, if you're a sucker for plants and can't kill them when you have too many, but that's me. So, and it makes me very popular with people, at least garden-loving people or plant-loving people. All right, time to go knead my bread again. Am I making you crazy yet? Such is life. Okay. Now, this is another pot that I could fit another pot inside of, but it doesn't have a drainage hole. So this is made for little pots that you want to add to it. It could be decorative, but it's not drains. Does not drain. I could say this right one of these times. All right. So put that up there. Put this down here. Now, let's see. I don't think I have any more irrigation stuff. I do have one of these spray nozzles, these spray guns for a regular hose. Oh, yes. Here's some new 1/4-inch pipe I could put in here. I've got gloves I need to get set up. Now, these gloves are great. I buy them in packages at Lowe's or Home Depot, and I can't remember if they're concrete. Anyway, they're just work gloves. And a package of them is pretty cheap. And I don't go through these any faster than I do fancy garden gloves. So this is worth it. I wear them to a nub. If they get especially grubby, I throw them in the wash, hang them out to dry, and they're good to go again. So these ones all need a good wash. So I'm going to take them in next time I go in. Let's see. Oh, these are some sweet peas. Now I could throw these out. In fact, I think I will. I'll put these out by that obelisk that I threw the Canterbury Bell seeds next to. And these should go ahead and come up. I can plant in the fall with the seeds of the sweet peas. A rubber band, I don't think I need that. This little jar is what I would put my rooting hormone in, so I didn't dip. I don't like dipping the ends into the, right into the bottle because it contaminates it. Okay. My markers. This is a hollyhock, and I was saving the seeds. This is a pretty white with a pink center that I just loved. And I have a spot that I want to spread these. I just have to go in there and cut out the, what is it? The castor bean plant that's in there right now. Okay. I've got all these little screws that I don't know what they came from. And some more eye hooks. This I use for hanging up my trellises for the roses on the side of the house. So I do want to keep those. Lots of clutter. My black-eyed Susan seeds I saved. Castor beans. So all these little things. Okay, this was a rooting for air layering roses and whatever. And you fill this with the medium. It looks like I'm going to lose my battery. And then you latch it on there, and then it roots within this after you've scraped the cane. I have a blog post on it and a video too. So if you want to air layer roses, which it works very, very well, go watch that and see how I do it. The blog post I did, I used a used water bottle, but I thought these are so much easier to use that, yeah, that is the way to go. Okay. Oh, these are poppies. Ooh, I could put these out there because poppies bloom really early. I could put this out there where the roses were too. And then by the time they're done, everything else is blooming. Yeah, I think I'll put those out there too. And I can see how it works. I'm always trialing things. I do tend to get things a little crowded, but that's okay. It all does fine. Okay, so I need to put up some hooks for my tools and or find something else to put them in that they can, I think I know what. I have a trash can that I'm not using. I was going to give it away, but for right now, until I can get hookups, all my tools will fit down in that just fine. And it's just a quick and easy fix. So I'll go get that, put it in that corner, come back, and I'll sweep this up. I like to clean as I go because it just makes me have a good feeling. All right, ready. Battery changed. Bread needed. My irrigation stuff, I found one of those big plastic bins. I'll put that in and out there. But now I am not going to get this completely organized today. That's just my reality because I have bookwork I have to get done. It's getting close to the end of the year. But I promised myself I could do a little bit out here and then go do that, especially as it cools off and it gets a little too chilly out here to work. But I did want to get started before, snow comes tomorrow, etc. We got to get the cover put on this, plastic cover. We should have had it done by now. But as I said, it got cold so fast and the wet weather came in so fast, but it will get done. There's nothing in here that water can really harm. And the leaks are, in places where it doesn't get out anything yet. So we have time. Next week we'll get to that. But yeah, I just work on things when I can, as I can. And, I know that's most people's reality. I know a lot of I love it too, to see it before and after. And maybe once I get this all clean, I'll come back. But this video is going to go up before it's done. So, yeah, just know that your reality is my reality. Another one of those shelf thing, and this has a towel rack. This might be really come in handy in here. Again, find a place to put it. I had thought of putting it back there before I got this, and I could put it like over here. Let's see if I can you see over here? Right here, and then I can hang a towel, because this is where I have a faux or kind of a sink. I have this square tub and the water goes into it, and it doesn't have a drain. I have to pick it up and drain it out, but that would work well there. And then on top of here, I could put things. That's the idea anyways. All it would take is a couple of nice screws, see right here through these holes. So I'll put this with the other metal piece. Oh, and I went and got my bin. Let me show you. This is a bin, garbage bin, that I'm going to put my tools in like this. This, see, fits down in there. These. Now I am going to get out some, and I have to go get the garage. In the garage, it's locked. WD-40 and spray them all good for the winter. You noticed these have gotten a little rusty. I will scrub it off with steel wool, sharpen them good, spray them good with the WD-40, and that'll be good to go for the winter. I can actually set them right there underneath the table. Now it makes it top heavy, so I have to set it up against a wall or something until I get my hooks up. And or I can put hooks up, because in the winter I don't use them, and so they're not taking up space in here. I can store them in the basement. Yeah, my handy dandy basement. So that all is good. Those are all washed. This needs to be washed, so I'll take it in to be washed, scrubbed up. I got pots under there. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. So. All right, yeah, a lot of stuff. More seeds. I need to package these up and see what I have. Ooh, Chinese forget-me-nots. I want to put those out front. And I need to start spreading these seeds out, the ones that I can sow now, because I've had them a year or two and they're going to lose viability. And yeah, and just see what happens, because I don't see myself spending the time and effort to sow them in here when I know they can just be sown easily out in the garden, come up, I enjoy them, etc. And the ones that don't work, fine. I've got plenty of flowers that work. So, all right, friends, I know I've gotten pretty far. I'm nowhere near done. And I hope you watching me and me rambling on about stuff wasn't too boring. Yeah, but I wanted to get started out here, and my studio cottage is next. I got to get in there and clean it. There's so many painting tutorials I want to do, but when I walk in there, it's worse than in here, or how this was, and it just overwhelms me for the moment. And so once I get it cleaned out, it'll be so inspirational to work in there, and I can even do some garden videos in there, because yeah, it would just be a great place, because I have, especially if I put this work table in there, I could do some potting up videos, whatever, in warmth rather than freezing my patookies off out here. But it also will work as a great surface to do my painting tutorials on. So, hey garden friends, my greenhouse cleaning has been interrupted. Rounded up my husband, and we are going to put the clear plastic tarp that I bought specifically to put on my greenhouse for the winter, so I didn't get water in there, and it protects the roof panels from snow bombs that fall out of the tall pines that are over it. So that's what we're going to do. Well, I found the cover. Hopefully it has all the bungees with it. If not, I know I have some more inside of the greenhouse, so I will unfurl this, check for bungees that are needed. I'm going to go in and put my hair in a ponytail, since I know it'll keep it out of my way better. And then we'll be back as soon as my husband's off his conference call. Then we can get to putting this on the greenhouse. We're supposed to get another snow tomorrow, so this is important that we get this on now, so we can do it while it's dry and not freeze our patooties off getting snowed on while we're putting it up. Okay. So we are getting that little bit of snow. It's very wet, sloppy. So I'm going to have to be very careful walking because sloppy wet snow is the slipperiest. But we're going to check out what the greenhouse looks like with its little cover on. And if it is working. My husband was a little rough pulling it over the top. I was afraid he was going to rip portions, but it looks like it's going to be okay. I know it's not the most attractive thing, but it does the job of making it watertight. So I'll also give you an overview of the cleanup I did, how far I got in my long rambling cleanup video. It's looking much, much better. These are the things that I was saying I was going to hang up. This is what I'm going to put the dahlia tubers in. So I'm looking around to see if I have any wet spots in here, and no, I do not. So it's working fantastically. Great. I'm thrilled. So, my friends, sorry I got so rambly with the video cleaning up the greenhouse, but that is really truly how things work around here as far as having to do many things at one time. So I will see you in my next video. Bye.